YouTube, I'm PeggyLu Who, and this is my channel, PeggyLu Who Reads, or PeggyLu Who Reads. Welcome if you are new here, welcome back if you are not. As always, I'm going to start off with thanking my subscribers, all 45 of you as of recording this right now, and a special shout out and extra love to my supreme subscriber and #1 fan, giggled mama. So this video is a video that is a little bit overdue and not exactly seasonally, what's the word I'm looking for? Punctual? So right before Christmas, I came to know about a particular subgenre of literature that is, yeah, I shouldn't be surprised because people are weird, right? And apparently there is this thing, Rule 34, like, which is like rules of the internet or something. And Rule 34 is basically like, if a thing exists, someone is going to make something of a adult sexy time nature that is about that thing. And I forgot that y'all are a bunch of weirdos, and so it kind of caught me a little bit off guard because I was like, of all the things you could make adult sexy time material about, this seemed like the last possible thing that anyone would, and yet here we are today. Because as it turns out, that Santa smut is a thing. And going back to my very first video on YouTube, or on booktube actually, was a book where I introduced myself and talked about the types of books I liked to read, and one of them was smut. And at least one person said, "Oh my god, you have to talk about smut," because I said that I probably wouldn't, because it would probably be really boring, because I would give the same review to every single one of them. Fast forward to this last Christmas, and a couple days before, I just stumbled upon a few things that were available for Kindle. And today we're going to talk about Santa smut. Yeah, you heard me right. Santa Claus. Santa Claus as the object of smut. If you watched my last video that was like the best of and worst of 2021, you might have gotten a little bit of a hint that this was coming, because the books that I was able to download on my Kindle, they were not very long. They were, 99-cent specials off of the Amazon Kindle store, and yeah. So I was able to read through them all really quickly over the holidays, and so I wanted to discuss them all with you. I read 3 short novels or novellas, short stories about people getting it on with Santa Claus. So let's talk about it. The first stuff that I read the first one that I read was The Naughty List, which was written by Ellie Mae McGregor. I am laughing like a fiend because I'm a little bit, I mean, it's hilarious, right? We're talking about people writing erotic fiction about Santa Claus, childhood mythical creature Santa, who brings us present, who knows if we've been naughty or nice. Here's the thing, like, once you really start thinking about it, think of all the chimneys he came down. I don't apologize for that joke. I don't at all. But like, seriously, once you think about it, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And of course, then you have to read it and write it if that's what your thing is. But going back to the books that I read. So The Naughty List by Ellie Mae McGregor. So shockingly, I gave it 2 stars. It wasn't the worst thing I read. But The Naughty List is about a single mom whose kids are off with their father for Christmas. It was a last minute trip that was sprung on her. So she's alone at Christmas time. She falls asleep on the couch. She wakes up and Santa is there in her living room. She thinks she's dreaming, so she starts going with it because she thinks this is her brain giving her a wet dream, basically. And she starts going with it, and then at a certain point she realizes, like, oh, this is no dream. And in this particular novel, Santa is a much younger man than the Santa we all envision, and has a hot bod to go with. But one thing that I will say is like they leaned into it. They leaned into it super hard. And so here's a quote for you. Whilst in the act, it is described that her vision lit up like a Christmas tree. Ma'am, you should talk to your doctor about that. Did you also smell burnt toast when that was happening? See, this is the thing, like, I read this stuff and I enjoy it, but like part of the reason why I enjoy it is not the reason you're supposed to enjoy it for, right? Like, number one, not all of it is like actually something that I would find enjoyable. Sorry, Mom. Not enjoyable in the way that like it's meant to be enjoyable, but like I can laugh about it, which is part of the reason why I read it, because I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, when you start talking about like arriving at your destination being like a Christmas tree because you're in a situation where you're bumping with Santa Claus, like, come on. Like, but then at the same time, like, that's what you expect, I guess, when you're reading this. Yeah, so that was that one. Yeah, single mom, much younger Santa, who, when he took off his suit, was just ripped or whatever, which is, like, hilarious. Cool, moving on. So the next one that I read was Her Night with Santa, written by Adriana Herrera. So this one, big twist. In this one, the folks that play the part of Santa or the other figures, because in other like non-European, non-Northern Hemisphere parts of the world, the tradition isn't that necessarily a guy called Santa Claus shows up. There are other folks that are supposed to be the ones that are bringing the presents, right? So in this book, basically the folks that are the present dropper-offers, like the toy runners, are members of the dynasties of the original folks that were the present dropper-offers, the toy runners, right? So in this one, we come to find out that there is a gal that is the niece of one of the Magi who has decided that she needs a break, and she gets, yeah, this is a little bit convoluted. It starts off kind of convoluted, but basically she's sort of broken with family tradition. She's trying to do her own thing, and she is having a business meeting, but then gets stuck and cannot make her flight to go and be with her family on the day after Christmas. Her uncle sets it up that she can go to Santa's Caribbean, Bermuda island bungalow getaway, right? So she goes there, she thinks she's totally alone, and she's doing her alone time thing. It's the Toy Runner series. She's doing her alone time thing. And while she's doing her alone time thing, unbeknownst to her, Santa, Kris Kringle, aka Christina Kringle, who is the latest in the dynasty of the Santa Clauses, has actually shown up after her crazy night of dropping off toys for all the children, and does not know that someone will be in her home. She thinks she's got the bungalow all to herself, and comes across this other gal while she is having her me time, and Sapphic sexy times ensue. I appreciate so much that there's like even within this random weird subgenre, they managed to find a way to like have some representation, that these are not just all about, you know, guys with white beards and heteronormative stuff. Cute, awesome, wonderful. The one thing I would say about this one is this is a little too raunchy for me. Even for me, some of the language I was like, ma'am, if you used that word while I was with you, I would definitely kick you out of bed. I don't care how many sleighs full of toys you have. You're not slaying me with that mouth. Yeah, so I gave it 2 stars. And finally, I saved this one for last because I liked the title the best. I thought it was like the one that leaned into it the hardest. No pun intended. But Santa Claus is Going to Town on Me by M.L. Eliza. This one gets like bonus points, I think, for the fact that like they didn't try to turn Santa Claus into someone who doesn't resemble who you think of when you think Santa Claus. He's an older, tubby gentleman. Although gentleman's probably not the right word for it. In this one, they sort of depict Santa as an alien. The only one like him who lives for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and it turns out the North Pole is probably on another planet. There's not really any elves. He's completely all by himself. But he does use magic reindeer, and they are earth reindeer that are magic. I don't know how that works. But yeah, in this one, I don't even remember how Mom and Santa or the young woman... Oh! Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. So in this one, Santa manages to hook up with his leading lady because of a mistake, a clerical error. He ends up in her living room when he's meant to be dropping off a toy for somebody else that has a similar name for a little girl. Because he's not actually just a magical being, he's just an alien with a spreadsheet, as it turns out. So they meet, and instead of it, you know, going down like you would expect if you were a single woman who came into your living room and found some dude in your living room. I mean, she did come in the living room with a sword, but then she quickly dropped the sword, and then all of a sudden sexy times happens. So, you know, you come to your smut for some realism, especially your Santa smut. What am I talking about? Anyway, of all of them, this was the cheesiest one, but it was also like the one, like I said, they didn't try to make Santa into some younger person, some hot person, hot person. This one was the one that they acknowledged that like hot comes in many shapes, sizes, and ages, and I'm here for it. And like I said, it really leaned into like the classic Santa and what would that be like. In this one, Santa instantly can read the minds of anyone if they are thinking about what they desire most. And so I'm sure you can see what the implications would be there. But like any of them, it's like, this is just weird. And there, I can go into like how it's oddly not actually involving consent if you're just reading someone's mind, because we all have thoughts and everything, but we also have other thoughts, and yeah, it's weird. But yeah, this is the one that I rated 2 out of 5 and put on to Goodreads that I just, yeah, so cheesy. That was the entire review. Prevailing theme, at least with the gents, the Santa gents, but there was a particular fluid, and they all played around with what that fluid tasted like. I didn't think that was necessary. So leave me a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this video, what you thought about the fact that I actually read these. Has your opinion of me, let me know whether your opinion has gone up or down of me, whether you are thinking that you should now unsubscribe or whether you're thinking you should now subscribe. Leave a comment below and let me know. Is there a genre or subgenre or niche of literature that you would like for me to check out and record a video about in the future? Also put that in the comments. And if you like my content, consider giving it a like, sharing, or subscribing. Yada yada yada, yuckity smackety, blah blah blah. And until next time, read well. Ho ho ho, ho ho ho, I'm coming down. I want to sing a Christmas song here, but that would probably get me in copyright trouble. We thought Mariah Carey was the queen of Christmas, but really it's Santa's daughter. Share, give it a... Santa, is that some mistletoe on your belt, or you just... Oh, wow. What do you got in your sack, Santa? Jolly old Saint Nick. Jolly. It's so wrong. Santa, thanks for the magical Christmas.